guys, it's Kanan.
It's Jesse.
And we are the Geeky Saying Couple, and this is our overview/analysis of RWBY, Volume 7, Chapter 7, Worst Case Scenario. A few things first. We know content has been a little sparse on the channel here recently. That's because of the holidays. Please be patient with us. I work like every day until Christmas. So
And the weather's been doing some weird things with the internet lately too, so it's
yeah, like right now it's thunderstorming outside because it was almost 70 today in December. So
uploading into YouTube is just gonna take a little longer. But we're working on the videos, and we do have some stuff planned for the little Christmas break
for RWBY.
for RWBY. Not all of it's going to be RWBY related, but we do have stuff planned, and we're probably going to at least try to put a bunch of things out.
Yeah, she's got a few cosplay related videos ready. Hopefully this week we can get a trailer up for the Let's Play series that I'm going to be doing, and hopefully I can have that up before January. That's the goal, is to have it started before January. Also, thank you everyone for 87 subscribers. We are very close to 100 subscribers. We would love to hit that before the new year, so please, if you're new to the channel and you're watching this, please subscribe. Hopefully this won't be too long because it is kind of late at night. I had to work till 10 o'clock at night. And it wasn't a very long episode, so
we do have quite a bit of slides, but whenever we explain stuff, it'll probably continue to multiple, kind of like the other. The last one was kind of like that too.
Yeah. So yeah, more content is coming. It's the busiest time of the year for us right now, and she's been getting a ton of commissions, so she's busy. But once that starts to clear out, we will have more going because we'll have a little bit more free time. Plus, we do have a convention coming up soon.
Yeah, we're getting ready for OhioCon, which will be all RWBY. So whenever we do videos there, we'll probably actually be fully in cosplay.
Yeah, we will definitely be doing our reaction that weekend. I don't know about the analysis. That might have to wait until we get back. Because we are staying at a friend's house, and we're pretty much just going to do a improv setup there. But anyway, enough of that. If you guys like the video, please like it, share it around, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. All of our links are in the description down below. Twitter, Facebook, Etsy store, Square store, Patreon, all that. So please, if you like the channel, please support us. So let's get into the new contacts messing with you.
I'm getting used to them, so if you see me on camera and I'm messing with my eye, it's because I've been testing them out today. Which, a video for that's coming soon too. Alright, let's get started.
Okay, so the episode starts off with poor little Penny, who last episode was framed for the attack at the election party. I think I even noted in our reaction that, see, robots do have feelings because the robotic arm pets her head to comfort her. I don't know if I covered it in our last analysis, but it really is harking back to Volume 3 when Yang was set up. And people are already saying that, once again, Penny is being used to create panic, like at the Vital Festival. So, very, very, seems like there's a very strong parallel going between Volume 3 and Volume 7 so far. And just more of poor Penny. Like, it's heartbreaking, because everybody was so happy to see Penny back alive, and now here she is, just being blamed for everything. So here is someone we've seen before. It's one of the thirsty moms.
Shoved a casserole on Jean, which we didn't see Jean at all this episode.
No, I don't think we did, because was he not with Ren and all them?
No.
Oh, he wasn't?
He wasn't with them.
So we know at least that one of the thirsty moms is okay, because many people pointed out...
you can see at least distinctly 3 of them out of all that entire group. were obvious, very obviously in that.
Yeah, like they were, a couple of them apparently were a couple who were attacked by Tyrion in the last episode. Now, these next few slides, it is pretty much, while the word is not used in his speaking, it's pretty much Ironwood declaring martial law. Because it says, there are being no public gatherings of any kind, and that's what happens in martial law. The government pretty much takes over. There's not to be any public gatherings, nothing like that. Which Ironwood is technically doing it um, to prevent Grimm from coming because of all the negative emotions. But like I said, even though Ironwood does not use the words martial law in his announcement, it is brought up here soon. But now this was funny. People are asking for Penny to be deactivated, and they put this scene of it looking like Penny's behind bars. So I thought that was kind of but something else that is not in this slide is that Atlas is trying its best to let people know the footage was doctored. But
not everyone's really believing that right
no.
now. Can you really blame a lot of the citizens of Mantle for believing much because of everything? Like, they're not doing anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
I still really, before we get to that, I still really believe, though, with the whole thing, with the cameras, obviously, Watts got a hold of all of that because he helped create it. Well, later on, you'll see also with Pietro, and I'll probably mention this there as well, but if they would have taken the upgraded security in Atlas and upgraded Mantle at the same time or slightly after, that would have prevented Watts from even getting access to those cameras because he wouldn't have been able to get into a new system that he didn't create.
So, I loved this whole sequence because it shows the Happy Huntresses pretty much being what they're based off of, and that's the Merry Men. We see right here that Fiona is indeed okay. So that was a very big sigh of relief. And we get this nice little, not a montage, but like this little sequence of pretty much showing the Happy Huntresses ripping Atlas off. It's very Robin Hood esque, and we learn some semblances. Now, I know I'm probably not going to get this right because we still don't know exactly what their semblances are as far as what they're called, what exactly they do. But May, it almost looks like she is able to camouflage things in a way, I guess.
It's like, because when you see inside, she's created a dome that completely makes something disappear. So
so it's pretty much like a disappearing
like
semblance.
There.
Yeah, like it's still there, but it's being masked by this dome of energy. And we also learn Fiona's semblance, which people are still trying to figure out. It's like she can. It's really hard to explain.
She makes She makes it into something small and collects it into her hand. So. Yeah.
Now, we don't know if that stuff is transported somewhere else, or if she's got, like, this whole...
Or if she's, like, the only other thing that I could think of at the moment, just from what we can see, is that little round space on her hand, that whatever she takes turns into a round coin-like shape, and she takes it in her hand. Yeah. That's the only other thing I could think of, and if that's true, that's kind of like them, like, the Merry Men when they take gold.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so that's exactly what I think of, but we don't. Well, I mean,
it's definitely Robin Hood and the Merry Men stealing from the rich to give to the poor because they're taking these supplies that Atlas is using for Amity Arena, and they're taking it so that it can be used elsewhere. Which, yes, is a very noble thing, but it's still stealing. So, as we move on, okay, so Ironwood is starting to lose it. Like, he is now, like, this whole sequence, I'm just like, oh, he's starting to get this, he's cracking. Pretty much, like, his hair is getting a little disheveled, he gets a little wide-eyed during this whole thing. His
anger flares.
Yeah, so he's unraveling. He really is. I mean, it goes with that's one of the reasons why Ruby still hasn't told him um, the truth about Salem. So they're talking about Robin because she is stealing stuff, and I don't know if you got the slide or not, but Clover does point out that her losing the election pretty much gave her the trigger to go. So they're yeah. Let's go ahead and
well,
go there.
it was here because that's when she said it's this was her response to what he said is
About
no,
Robin
it's more
going,
complicated than
yeah,
that.
about Robin going full vigilante.
No.
So yeah, Winter is the one that brings up the possibility of declaring martial law, which they've kind of already been doing with the embargo and just all that. Like, yeah, Mantle is all kind of already under martial law, so just declaring it,
which is a very, very bad idea.
Yeah, because I mean we're pretty much on the verge of civil war between Mantle and Atlas at this point, which
that's not something extra we need.
No, not really. not with a common enemy that can create Grimm, but so Nora is the VIP of this episode because she really challenges Ironwood in these scenes. Excuse me. So there's already the theory that the Winter Maiden is Nora's grandmother. I'm starting to think more and more that Nora may originally be from Mantle. And
I do too, especially just the let's see, what's the word? The force behind her words. Like, there's something more there.
Yeah, and it's the fact that Nora's never been this, I don't want to say preachy, but this vocal about helping others. Like, because I mean, let's face it. Since Volume 4, her, Ren, and John have kind of been in the background. Like, they were kind of in the background for most of Volume 5. Pretty much all of Volume 6 in a way. There was some times they shined and all that, but in this one, it's like they are really deciding, okay, let's show a more real side of Nora, because during the week between last week and this episode, someone had made a point about how on the Volume 2 commentary that they pretty much confirmed that Nora pays attention more to what's going on than people give her credit for. So, I don't know. I just have a feeling that this is leaked because we're still supposed to get more Nora backstory this volume. That was the rumor.
She's just been more relaxed and goofy herself, but all of this stuff that she's noticing, a lot of it she's just kept to herself. But now that it's all barreling down, she's just like, it's kind of.
And I mean, who knows?
Coming out of it.
And who knows? She might not be from Mantle. It just might mean that she knows she was an orphan, so she knows what it's like to live like the people in Mantle are. So she's a little bit more against the way they're being treated. It could be one of two. It could be both.
Or her grandmother's from Mantle.
Yeah, which, like I said, the theory that the Winter Maiden is her grandmother is a very, very strong theory right now. And I mean, once again, it's just more of Nora just challenging Ironwood. Like, she's like the only one in the room. Not even RWBY is trying to challenge. Really, well, I mean, RWBY kind of side with Nora in a way, but this kind of reminds me of what they did with RWBY last volume, where they had RWBY kind of stand her ground and made all of her speeches that she did in Volume 6, and now it seems like Nora's the one that's kind of stepping up and challenging what's being said. And I mean, even right now, some people have pointed out that Ren looks mad at Nora.
I don't.
That he looks like he's kind of upset with her that she's challenging Ironwood. And I mean, I don't know. You can't tell.
You can't tell. And I mean, I went through that scene a couple times, and yeah, it looks like he's not exactly the happiest, but.
I'll go ahead and say it. Just because they kissed last week, I think Renora's still in danger. What do you think?
I mean, I don't like to think about it, but there's possibility that there's danger there. I really don't think they're gonna do anything to it, but it's a little disappointing to see, and I know I've seen a lot of other people say that too. But honestly, this scene though, I looked. He didn't exactly look angry like we've really seen in the past, like even through his eyes. He knows what she's saying is true, but he's not going to be one to speak out against it either. None of them are, but
yeah, and you're right. John's not in this scene.
No, he's not.
I mean, neither is Weiss, so I wonder where Weiss is. And I'm wondering if Blake and Yang are already in the ambush truck, or, where are they at, Which they could. They could be in the ambush truck already. But,
or getting ready for it.
Yeah, this was a really pretty tense scene, but I highly applaud Nora for calling Ironwood on his bullshit.
And at first he looks pissed, but then
yeah,
he knows this is true.
Yeah,
so he's
which
he
is
really
why,
is cracking.
Yeah, which is why I do not dislike Ironwood. I think he's doing the absolute best he thinks he's doing, but he is so freaking stubborn to the point where he will not
And later
listen to
Oscar
anybody.
points that out.
Yes, and once again,
and we'll get to a point of that I made as well. So
yeah, and I mean, once again, even when Oscar points that out, Ironwood still doesn't listen. So yeah, it's not a good situation at all. And yeah, right here's where Ruby does stand up for, and I love how pissed off Nora looks. But and Ruby makes a great point. What's going on?
Salem wants to divide, and she says this a couple times in the episode. She wants to divide everybody. That's her goal. Her first goal is to divide everybody.
But I do love it because it shows that this whole volume, they said that trust was a main theme, and that's definitely playing in this.
And another thing also, going back with Ren, with the whole trust and love issue, that's another way I know that, yeah, they're still in trouble, but the way things are going between them, that's a very real life situation that people do.
Yeah.
Like, we've got the situation with Blake and Yang, but then we've got these two. It's a little more than I thought it'd be, but it's also a real life
Well, when we get to Blake, well, yeah, but it's not exactly a good thing to happen.
No, but Blake you can come back from it.
Because later in a scene, they kind of show what Blake and Yang are doing right that Ren and Nora isn't, which I'm going to get to when we get to the Blake and Yang part. So this is where things got a little bit interesting. They bring up Tyrion, and which Ruby, Ren, Nora, Crow, they've all fought Tyrion. But of course they would have a police record of Tyrion, and here's some stuff like
I could not get, even in HD, I could not get close enough to see a lot of it. So
a lot of it's redacted, a lot of it is censored. We do learn had we ever seen Tyrion's last name before this?
I don't think so.
So there was that. I did think I got to look at some of it on a screenshot that someone posted on Twitter. It does confirm that yes, he is indeed the Scorpion from the Frog and the Scorpion, because he does kill a person that does represent the Frog. So there's that, and I mean they confirm that he was being transported.
And it was attacked by Grimm.
Didn't they say it was from Atlas to Mistral?
It may have been.
Okay,
and Ruby pointed out, well.
Yeah, so Salem herself broke Tyrion out. So it makes you wonder if he was being transferred from Atlas to Mistral. Is Tyrion like originally from that area? Like because how, and this is my psychologist coming out. It kind of fits with because Tyrion is, at the end of the day, a perfect example of a serial killer with true.
Like Jack the Ripper.
Well,
that's kind of because he does it at night. That's kind of what that reminds me of a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, But he's the example of a serial killer with true psychopathic tendencies. Because a lot of serial killers, in case anyone's worried why I know stuff like this, I have my degree in psychology. So most serial killers, they're not insane. They are capable of rational thought and all that, and they plan their stuff out. But some of them are legally insane, and Tyrion would definitely, yeah, Tyrion would definitely be legally insane, because he really, I mean, there's a motive there because it's to create the chaos that they're there to cause for Salem,
He
but
sets a base plan, and then that's it.
yeah,
He
and
doesn't plan anything else through.
yeah. So I mean, there is a clear intent to harm with Tyrion. And who knows? There might be some of Jack the Ripper mixed with Tyrion.
Because the whole thing, doing it, I know it's not just women that he's going after, but
Yeah,
it's anybody. But he's doing it at night, in alleyways, in the dark. So that's where I'd see the slight edge of Jack the Ripper.
yeah.
And I meant to tell you that before, but
Yeah. So I mean, who knows? Yeah, I mean, yes. At the end of the day, he's based off the Scorpion from Scorpion the Frog, but who knows? RWBY could have thrown in a little Jack the Ripper there. Um, and yes, that's exactly as Winter says.
homicidal maniac who escaped justice.
Yeah, so I mean, we got a little bit of backstory for Tyrion here, which is cool. Tyrion is probably my most favorite current villain. Even though I hated his guts, I really did like Adam as a villain. So now that Adam's gone, I think I really like Tyrion as far as just truly psychopathic villain goes.
Which, again, though, the story with Adam's a little more. There's a little more to that for us,
Yeah.
anyway. So there's.
Well, and this is pretty much RWBY letting Winter, Clover, and Ironwood know that yes, Tyrion does work for Salem, and yes, he's here in Atlas. So yeah, Salem is trying to start stuff.
If you notice, Crow, he didn't interrupt or anything, but he went and added on, pretty much saying confirming, yes, he's seen this maniac. He's fought him. He's tried to kill him.
Yeah. And Crow kind of put him in his place in a way back in Volume 4.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny.
Which, another thing, though, with...
Everybody wants to see that rematch, is Crow versus Tyrion.
I think he should be the one to kill Tyrion.
Who knows, he might be.
But that's another reason why I kind of knew Fiona wouldn't have died, because Crow survived. And now that we know a little more of his semblance, it kind of made sense that I knew she wouldn't.
Now, if I remember correctly, Clover's pretty much pointing out that they really don't need to let it known that a long-lost serial killer is loose in Mantle, because that will just create more panic and that'll create more Grimm. And Nora once again just blows up. She's getting sick of this. After Blake and Yang, I think it's going to be Nora who's going to defect and help Robin, because
probably. I mean, because she said she's so sick of secrets. Everybody is at this point. I mean, but each person is coming to their own realization from something on their own, and Nora's hit that snap point.
Yeah, the only one that it's still not clear about is RWBY, because RWBY is still acting like she's okay with doing what Ironwood wants to do. Later in the episode, I'll touch on what I think is going on with Weiss. But, yeah, I think Nora's eventually going to get tired of this. And I think this is the first time since we've seen Ironwood again that he raises his voice.
Yeah, and the fact, though, that it's finally hitting him. His first plan was, telling everybody about Salem. Well, apparently it's finally kicked in, which it should have done this sooner, to not tell everybody about Salem, because it's going to induce panic. More Grimm. And especially with everything, all the chaos now, which, like I said, he should have noticed this before, but he's stubborn and doesn't listen. But so it took this to realize not to tell people.
Well, if that wasn't enough, you've got him being framed, you got Penny being framed, you've got a serial killer who is working for your main enemy in your town, you've got Jacques Schnee on the council now. I mean, it's just... I'd hate to have his job right now, because he's probably got as much... If he drinks coffee, he's probably running on it 24/7, because my gosh.
Or he's out of it.
Yeah. Yep. So, like, so he says that if they just told everyone about Salem now, that. But the thing is, I think this is kind of foreshadowing that no matter when he tells them about Salem, it's not gonna go good.
No.
So yeah, he came off very obsessive here to me. Like he is so obsessed with getting this tower ready that he's willing. Well, I don't know if he's willing, but like it's pretty much of one of those things where the ends justify the means. Like I don't know. Like I said, I like Ironwood. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he is doing bad, but there's a lot of gray area.
There
in
is,
this whole
and
thing.
the thing is, I mean, yes, having global communication would be a great thing, but
having global communication to spread panic is not a good thing.
No, it's not. And now, the thing is because of all of this, because of the election, Jacques winning, yeah, now he can't tell anybody anything.
No.
Like, so he's digging himself his hole that he's already in.
Because before this time, the council was doing whatever he wanted them to do because they were scared.
Now,
now they probably won't because Jacques is a silver-tongued manipulative asshole, and we learned at the end of this episode that he's already on the move.
Yeah, and here's another thing with with Ironwood. I'm wondering what it's gonna, because yeah, he's very stubborn, but every stubborn person has a point where they're gonna have to understand. I'm wondering what it's gonna take.
I don't know. Who knows if we'll see it this volume? Maybe volume 8.
Well, between the two, I'm just wondering what it's gonna take.
Yeah. So he says he wants Robin in custody.
And I'm right after he said that completely, that Nora's eyes changed and she kind of looked like, "You serious?" Like,
yeah.
And so did Ruby. Both of them gave that look like, really?
Yeah, last episode it seems like Ruby really does believe in what Robin wants to do. So that's what kind of makes me think that all of Team RWBY at some point are going to dump Ironwood and help Robin. It's just that
But Ruby's even said she doesn't know, when she had the well-needed talk with Crow, when they got their license and everything, she knows what Robin's doing is helping. She knows things that Ironwood is doing is helping, but and crossing those lines, which is right, and there's right on both sides. So she's kind of caught in the middle. That's why I know she's not fully going one way or the other yet.
Well, after this episode, her and Weiss, as far as Team RWBY goes, are the only two that's not physically met Robin yet. I mean, technically she met her last episode, but all it was Robin to call her Pipsqueak again. That was it. But Blake and Yang are so far the only two that's actually talked to her.
Well, the fact Ruby growled at her when she called her Pipsqueak.
So this right here, it kind of seems like he's going to, I don't want to say make a deal with Robin, but it kind of comes off more as like he's going to order her. Like he calls it a deal, but it's kind of like, hey, I have a feeling it'd be like, get Mantle to agree with us, or we're going to put you in jail for all that stuff.
Pretty much.
He doesn't say that, and there's nothing really said.
But it seems that way.
It just comes off that way. So here's the elephant in the room. How did that video get all over Atlas? Which we all know. We the audience know, but the characters themselves don't. I think that's
especially
the irony.
Since now we know that everybody believes one person that could be doing this, which is dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which
we found out when he talked to Jacques. So that's why none of that's ever considered yet. So, and I don't think RWBY, they've never met Watts. None of them have.
No, they haven't.
So they wouldn't know to look there. But now, with that picture coming up, it's just a matter of time for pieces to start falling, for them to start connecting. Okay, well, we saw this guy in that picture, which we'll get to.
That's what's part of the dramatic irony here. Which is when us, the viewers or reader, know something characters don't. We know everything.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, well, not
Up
everything.
to this point.
Yeah, but we know who's behind all that, and the characters don't, and that's the drama of it all. So here is an interesting thing. We're going to get into a little fan theory that's been going on. So, um, Ironwood asks, does he make himself clear? And, everyone says, yes, sir. And then we get a very stern, like, yes, sir.
And I caught this too, so.
Yeah, so this, uh, it's almost like betrayal in a way, and it comes from Ren. So people do not have a clue what is going on with Ren, because before this, yes, he was quiet, but he wasn't really stern. I mean, Ren still had his fun side to him, and we saw more of an emotional side of Ren, and volumes 4 through 6, kind of like he just wasn't as quiet as he was 1 through 3. Plus, he was on screen more. But ever since they've got into Atlas, it's almost like he's developing this more military-like way of thinking. I don't know where it's come from. A lot of people keep saying, it's his childhood and all that. But I mean, ever since he remembered that, after we saw that childhood trauma in Volume 4, that was really never a thing in Volume 5.
No,
but then again, learning the truth about Salem might be of what triggered
that. That may have triggered something. Another thing also that I've been thinking recently also is, I don't know, like, just judging on how that he's acted from the beginning, I don't know if he completely believes everything about what Ironwood is saying either, because everyone's kind of shown, like, really? But the one main thing I think maybe one of his main concerns is the communication thing.
Well, I'm also thinking that maybe it isn't that he's 100% loyal to Ironwood. It's just that
I don't think he is, because
Ren is the type to where
get something done.
Yeah. So in a way, I don't want to say he's using Ironwood, but like he wants to use every opportunity he can to get stronger, get better, so they can do what they're supposed to do.
Which we saw he really is taking advantage of the training areas they have it in.
Is he doing it the right way? No.
Probably no.
Now, this whole little part right here caused a huge fan theory that I kind of just rolled my eyes at.
I went and looked into after I first read one of them.
And people could have, were posting all over that one of Ren's eyes is darker than the other. That it looked more brown than it did its regular color. And so...
It's not.
And so we had a theory, not us, but the fandom as a whole, that Ren was actually Neo.
Okay, let me just point out some flaws there. Neo is tiny. We have not seen her change shape or grow like a couple feet. She is extremely small compared to everybody else. She has not changed genders, and she's mute.
Yeah.
So
I love the everyone is Neo theories. I think it's hilarious. But if you zoom in, yeah, his eyes are still the same. There's no change. So no, Ren is not Neo. It's still Ren.
He's just... And it's hard, again, because of his semblance, because of the emotion. Emotion he doesn't show. We can't read anything. But I really
think this is going to lead to a whole him saying that they shouldn't have done that. The kiss.
I hope not.
I really think it's going to lead to that.
But I do think that he's not completely loyal to Ironwood, that he wants to get this, at least stick this done. Communications is a major thing, which...
Everyone, don't get the wrong idea. I love Renora. It's my second favorite ship, but...
As we've said, we plan to cosplay these two as well,
yeah,
so...
but I'm just reading what they're doing, the subtext and all that, it's not looking good storytelling-wise. It's got some really big red flags. I know everyone was excited about the kiss and all that, but...
And especially the way he reacted. He reacted like he should have. Like we expected. But then to see this, it's like, okay, well, what's still going on? We need to know what's...
It'll probably be touched upon before the volumes end. who knows? Or maybe they'll
But
save it
he
till
only
Volume
gets
8.
like this when he's around Ironwood.
Yeah, it's... Well, I mean, he was kind of... I don't want to say an asshole, but he was being kind of a stick in the mud at the party because he was telling Nora that they didn't have time to enjoy themselves and stuff like that. So, like I said, I get where Ren is coming from. I really do. It's, let's focus on getting better. Let's focus on the
There's
mission.
another thing too. Like, he doesn't want to fail.
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
That's another thing I believe that's really driving him is he does not want to fail. He wants to complete this. He wants to have them to get the communications up and find a way to do everything. But when they were walking,
he's just not doing it the right way.
No, and when they were walking and talking, and we've touched on this in our other analysis, is that they're connecting things, and the points that Nora pointed out. Okay, Oz can't defeat her. But, so that's probably got him thinking, but he doesn't know, obviously he even said he doesn't know how to show emotion, so we're going to have to just keep watching, because
So at the end of the day, no, Ren is not Neo.
No. And I got even a better shot that, yeah, his hair just covers his eyes, and it's always been that way, because when you see him move, his hair, it's still pink.
Yeah, so here's where things get interesting. Okay, so... Sadly, we didn't get to see the dance date. So once again, with Volume 2 and now this, RWBY has teased us and robbed us of a Bumblebee dance for the second time. So thank you all for that. But the important thing is, it still happened. Them going out to dance together, it's still canon, still happened. They went on a date, so...
And we got something. It wasn't exactly a talk we were thinking, but we got something we needed.
I think they done a pretty good job.
Well, yeah, but I meant like it wasn't as in depth as people thought we'd get.
Yeah, but with
the motion behind it was a lot more.
Yeah, with the kind of show that RWBY is, you're never, I don't think, gonna get like a whole episode of a talk. Cause was this section like as long as burning the candle? No, but the message that is there was delivered. It really was. And the scene is so intimate and like it's almost perfect in a way. I wished it would have been given more time. That's the only critique I have for it. But the music, the voice acting by both Aaron and Barbara, it's amazing. I have a feeling this is probably one of the scenes where they recorded together.
Probably was.
Because yes, we do know for a fact that Aaron and Barbara did record a couple of times together for the first time since Volume 2, this volume.
We just don't know how many scenes that equaled out to, because we know that they record several scenes.
Yeah, the leaks I was sent back during the hiatus stated they had recorded together multiple times.
Yeah, and because it was buried and it was some stupid comment that didn't really make any sense. But everyone's like, oh well, they recorded like once. No, like it was probably this scene.
No, Aaron went to Austin several times during the hiatus.
You have to understand. I mean, when you're recording stuff like this, I mean. I'm not a voice actress, but I do know people that have gotten into acting, and when you record something, whether it's voice acting, a movie, anything, you will record multiple scenes through that, even just one or couple days, and they'll be ranged through an entire season, or an entire movie. You could start at the beginning and do one at the end, and you wouldn't even know. It just depends on what they want to work on that day.
Yeah, and I mean, the way the voice acting works in RWBY is they really want to get the point across in their scenes, which they do great, just because there's some idiots out there who watch this show and just completely miss the plot and miss the point of a scene. So, like, even at RTX, when they randomly, for the first time in, like, years, brought up burning the candle, Aaron and Barbara said that they done it together because they wanted to nail it. And if this really is one of the scenes they did together, they nailed it. But it works because of how close Aaron and Barbara are in real life. So yeah, for me, this is a great scene. Like I said, I just wish it was a little bit longer. But yeah, Blake and Yang are in this truck. It's a decoy truck because they're trying to ambush Robin. Clover's telling him, he's thanking them for the assist. So I'm guessing, like, either See, I wish we knew how long time has went. I'm guessing it's probably the next day after the attack, maybe. I don't know, maybe a couple of days. But I don't like I wish we had at least gotten a scene of them getting picked up, and like, hey, you don't have a night off anymore. Get in the truck.
Get in.
Yeah, but I don't think that happened. But yeah, Clover's thanking them. Um, he's telling them, if your truck is hit, pursue immediately. Now, in this right here, Blake does not look happy. She has.
And Yang is that's why
Yang
I caught
notices.
this. She looks at her and
Yeah.
she notices.
Yeah. Her ears are folded, aren't
They're
they?
slightly tipped forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Blake does not like this plan at all, and like Jess pointed out, Yang does notice. She's not look. There's no reason for Yang to look at Blake's scroll when Yang has her own scroll right in front of her. She notices Blake's expression, which, putting their relationship aside, this just shows how well they get each other. And it's really amazing. We've seen all these partners in this series since Volume 1, and it's just wild that Blake and Yang just seem to be above everyone else as far as teamwork goes and getting what the others think.
And they've instantly fell in line when they first worked together in the first once they became team members.
I mean, thanks to the DC Comics, we've pretty much learned that they may as very well may be reincarnated soulmates.
Yeah,
So,
but that would also tie into their auras, the color of their auras,
matching their eyes.
Yes,
yeah.
So that really does make a point. Like, it just pushes it more. I mean.
But yeah, this scene was just so, like, we've been waiting for this for a while. Like, I don't think we'll ever get the talk a lot of people wanted of them discussing why Blake left, but I think that's because that was kind of already dealt with in Volume 6, because Yang knows now why Blake left. It was because of Adam.
She wanted to protect them from him, and obviously it wasn't going to matter.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think we're going to get that talk now because it's kind of not needed now because the characters know. We're supposed to pick up on that.
But what they said in this really does, like.
Yeah. So, Yang lets go that she's still bothered by the fact that Ruby lied to Ironwood. Now, a lot of people have brought up, well, Yang lied about Raven. Well, here's the thing.
She never said anything about Raven.
Well, Crow did ask her at the end of Volume 5 where Raven was and about the Spring Maiden. And, she said Vernal was dead and Raven was gone. So, yeah, like, she didn't tell them that Raven is the Spring Maiden.
No.
That's the thing. People are saying, why is she so concerned and bothered by Ruby lying when she's lied about Raven being the Winter Maiden? The biggest reason for that is the Spring Maiden's not important right now. The relic is as of right now still safe, I guess. It's no longer at the vault. The Spring Maiden isn't needed. The Spring Maiden's not important to the plot right now. And plus, Raven's her mother, okay?
Regardless of the relationship between them.
Despite her being a shitty mother, that's a very personal thing that Yang really doesn't have to tell anyone. Yes, it's Crow's sister, but there's really no point to it.
No one directly. And here's another thing. No one directly asked her if she knew who the Spring Maiden was.
Yeah.
He just simply asked about the Spring Maiden. She didn't answer. She just said
that Vernal was
dead
and Raven
was gone. Never said anything about a Spring Maiden. She just answered who was down there.
I think it's her way of protecting her mom.
Probably is. And we do need to do a video that dissect us a little more with Raven and all. But we've obviously shown, again, which we've mentioned before, Raven's obviously hiding her emotions. Again, there's a lot of people that do this. Anger, sarcasm, everything that hides your emotion, the hurt, the teardrops that we saw clearly. Raven cares. And I can guarantee she didn't want any of this on Yang.
And
like, but Yang took it anyways.
in this episode, also, people started talking about, Yang becoming like Raven. The only thing I can say about that is if Yang, like, with the
She's
whole
thinking more.
well, with the whole Team RWBY and Team Stark parallel, Yang's supposed to represent her father, where Blake is supposed to represent Raven. But the story that's being told is that, I mean, of course, Yang is going to pick up some tendencies from Raven because it is her mother, but she's being how her mother should have been, trusting others, not running, facing the impossible.
I think that's another thing that Raven sees now too, is
Yep.
she's seeing what
she should
have
been her own
or
daughter.
how maybe she was. Like,
Well, I mean, they do say sometimes parents look back at their kids and see what they should have been.
Raven. So. Thing is Raven still has the time that she can change at least a bit. Like, she can mend part of their relationship. It'll never be normal, but
yeah. So pretty much, Yang is wanting to share her opinion on this. Like, and a lot of people are like that. If something is deeply bothering you, even though it's already been addressed, if it's still bothering you, you'll bring it up because you want to vent. You want to give how you feel about it. So Yang is still bothered that they're not telling Ironwood about Salem. And Blake kind of pretty much says, just say what you want to say.
Well, sounds like you do.
Yeah, which, I mean, of course, is another way to show how much they get each other. And, of course, Yang says she trusts RWBY, but she does think that he deserves to know. And
Blake makes a good point, though, because even though she says, well, you don't agree, well, Blake does make a good point with that. Like, he's a bit prone to overreacting, clearly. And in the state he's in right now, where he's, like, cracking,
and Yang agrees.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, Yang definitely agrees. So, what is great here is communication. And with every great relationship, you need great communication. And even though we're seeing that the two of them think differently on this, they come to an agreement with each other. And that is how well these two know how the other works and how good they go together. This is the key. Like, you can ask me and her. This is a key to a great relationship, and that is, do I agree with Jess all the time? No. Does she agree with me all the time? No. But
there's a common ground there somewhere, regardless of that, where you stand on things. I mean,
yeah. So that's one great thing this does. It shows how well they understand each other, even though they think differently on something. They come to an agreement. And this is when things start to get a little heavy. This is where Adam starts coming up.
Well, Yang had also meant for this, about how Ironwood, he's running out of good options. And
Blake says,
I don't think there's any good ones left for any of us anymore. And I mean,
that's kind of going to what happened in Volume 6. Yeah, because, like, yes, they did kill someone. Wasn't self-defense, yes. There are still people crying, why didn't they just knock him out and turn him in? Huntsmen and huntresses are not police, okay? They do not decide what the law is. Pretty much, when you're a hunter or a huntress, it's kill or be killed, really. Because you're either going to be killed by Grimm, killed by bandits, killed by somebody else. You gotta defend yourself, people. It's easy for these Adam apologists to sit around.
Here's another thing. If they say, knocked him out and turned him in, he would have just escaped.
Yep, he would have. He either would have killed both of them or he would have came back after them.
He never was going to stop.
No.
And that's also another point to be made here. And it's like,
I just don't understand this way of thinking of defending the villains.
In another video, we will get more into this, but an abusive person, yes, abusive. I don't care how many people are going to turn around and say he wasn't. He was. I know what it's like. That person will never stop. They will keep going until something stops them, regardless if it's self-defense, regardless if it's whatever. There has to be a stop somewhere. And simply just putting Adam in jail is not going to solve anything. He would have kept hunting them for the rest of their lives.
And I mean, it's just, why is it in RWBY we have these people that, like I said, who want to apologize for the villains? Like when I was younger, I couldn't wait for Goku to kill Frieza. I couldn't wait for Gohan to kill Cell. You know, it's like, are there people out there who are defending Frieza's actions for being a genocidal murderer?
I wanted him dead.
Yeah,
I saw
like
first 2 episodes. When's he gonna die?
it's like it's wild because I mean, even Disney heroes kill the villain. You know, I mean, in almost every fairy tale, the villain is killed by the hero. You know, not every hero is like Batman who doesn't kill, where in some comics Batman does kill. It's just, I don't understand this mentality of the heroes don't kill the villains. It's
And especially when they've pretty much in everything, they're always usually given a choice: walk away, or probably be finished.
The only series I've ever watched where the hero doesn't kill any of the villains is like Korra. But that's because the Avatar isn't supposed to kill and all that.
But they also can use.
But
there's people that have, but Avatar. She has abilities that could actually stop somebody. So.
But I mean, the Avatar doesn't relate to a huntsman or a huntress who is pretty much fighting for survival, pretty much. So yeah, like I don't know why these people think that self-defense is murder. I really hope they never have to protect themselves because they're going to try and knock somebody out and they're just going to get themselves hurt. So she brings up to keep doing the right thing, which Yang knows what she's talking about. They're no longer talking about the whole situation with Ironwood. And another...
It's kind of, but it's more so this is leading towards what happened because...
Also, I love the fact that we have an instrumental of the opening playing during this.
I went back as soon as someone stated it and listened. Yes, it is.
Now, I think as of right now, it still doesn't have an official name, but...
Please put it on this version on the soundtrack.
But the opening OP still doesn't have an official name, but everyone has pretty much started calling it Trust Love. And it's kind of funny that, a song that could be potentially called Trust Love is playing during this section. And I love the way Yang says Blake's name. And the kind of expression they have on Yang's face, it's used in anime a lot. I forgot.
It's emotion.
Well, I mean, it's got a particular name to it. Someone on Twitter told me what it was called, but I don't remember the name. But, it's usually an expression when the protagonist is having an intimate conversation with their love interest. But yeah, I love how soft she says Blake's name, because this is a very intimate moment between the two. And these two looks between the two, and once again, their eye colors are so prominent out of everyone. It's weird. We see all these different eye colors in RWBY, and colors are very important in RWBY.
We've known this forever now.
Yeah, I mean, come on, when before all of them were revealed, they're people were calling them red, white, black, and yellow. But out of all the eye colors we have, Blake and Yang's have always been the most striking.
Next, Ruby's. Well, that's because she's more rare. There's a different meaning behind that.
There's a huge story reason behind that. With Blake and Yang, it's a lot more subtle that we've had to figure out over the years. With Blake's amber eyes, being the same color as Yang's aura, where Yang's eye color being... Because we had never seen Blake's aura until last volume.
Yeah, and the thing is actually looking at everybody else's aura, with the exception of what we'll get to later, it changes for somebody. But everyone's aura is white. Mm-hmm. Theirs is not.
Well, no.
I don't remember anyone else's aura.
Ruby's is red, I think.
I don't remember.
And we learn in this episode that Robin's aura is green.
It goes from white to... No, it changes if it's... I think if someone's lying, it changes color between green and red.
I didn't even think of that.
Because
I thought it was green just because she's Robin Hood.
No, yeah, it makes sense. Truth. But the thing is the opposite of truth would be red, and that'd be wrong. That'd be a no. So.
Well, I mean, Adam's aura was red.
Yeah, I mean, but for the connecting colors though, there too.
Isn't Ren's aura pink?
I don't remember, because most people's you see it's a white tint to it, so I'll really need to look back into that, but...
Is it just the lighting, or does Blake have tears in her eyes? I think it's, like, right here.
I see it, too. I'm not sure.
I can't really tell. That might just be
I think it's the lighting, because usually there's the white drops against the eyes.
I want to say once again, I really love Blake's short hair. I do not miss long-haired Blake at all. I don't. And Yang finally says that we did what we had to do. And people are still complaining about it, oh, they're murderers, and, but it's just... Adam's not coming back, people. He's been confirmed dead by everyone. You need to move on with your lives. Drop the show if you're still upset about it. Adam's not coming back. He's gone. He's done. He's yesterday's news. Okay, I'm sorry you built a headcanon of a character that before he was really properly introduced, we had only seen like 3 minutes of him, if that. So,
and I had already had bad vibes when I first saw him, so like... Yeah.
It's not our fault you got so invested in your headcanon that it didn't happen. But, Blake admits that she knows they did, but then she states that, next time something like that happens, she wants to make sure they don't have to. Which, once again, it's showing that they gave Adam a chance.
They didn't want to, and that's why Yang stated, we did what we had to. This still fits to that, like... And there'd have to be another way around it. Blake would like to, find another way, and Yang knows that too, but they had no option.
No. It was either kill him or he was going to kill them. That's it. I mean, that's the end of the story. So, Blake states that she's not thrilled with ambushing a huntress that's just trying to help. It's something that she is not happy with at all. She doesn't agree with it. And then Yang says that maybe we shouldn't. 24 hours before this episode aired, I said that Bumblebee was going to go rogue. They were either going to join Robin, or they were going to do something that showed... that kind of showed that they were more gravitating to her side. Because it all had to do with the... thumbnail that they released, saying, what would you do, like, how far would you go to fight for what was right? And I was like, oh, Bumblebee's gonna go rogue. They're gonna side with Robin, and that's kind of what happens. And I love the moment that Yang says that Blake's ears stand up. And I wouldn't say she looks shocked, but, maybe she didn't expect Yang to say that. And then, once again, we get the little smile between the two.
Yeah, and I made sure to catch that. It's just, like, it wasn't so much shock, and it's pretty much that whole realization. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, they knew that they had to follow orders, but for Yang to turn around and say, let's just not.
No.
Blake's just, instead of going for orders, she's just like, really? Okay, let's actually do something here.
Yeah.
Something different to help.
Yeah. So we go back to Penny, and I guess she's taking a nap.
No, I noticed in one of the pictures, that button that's on the back of her bow, a wire is connected to it. He's getting the footage that her eyes saw.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's even stated.
So she's kind of in a sleep mode, pretty much.
And so, they're trying to get what she saw so they can clear her name, even though people will probably say, oh, the military doctored it. So it's really weird that, Blake and Yang... okay, not weird. I just had an epiphany. So, Clover thanks Blake and Yang for deciding to be part of the ambush. So, obviously, Ruby and Weiss opted out.
Yeah.
So maybe Bumblebee decided to do it because they wanted an opportunity to make, like, even though it would have been completely at random that Robin would hit the truck that they were in, but maybe Bumblebee were hoping
For a
they would,
chance to do something.
yeah, for a chance to maybe speak to Robin. I'm not sure, but it is kind of weird that Ruby and Weiss decided not to take part in that. But then again,
Though Weiss has come into her own conclusions on things that she's piecing together on the other half of this. So
yeah, which I'm going to get to. But it just, maybe it had to do with Ruby being worried about Penny. She wanted to make sure Penny was okay. Is this the end of? I think we're getting close to the end of
close
these.
To this one, next one.
So we get to see Maria again. She's been gone since chapter 1. So yeah,
and clearly she's been helping Pietro.
Which is furthering the theories that these two were an item at some point, or maybe still are. So Pietro, it is Pietro that says this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if Penny hadn't been there, that Robin probably would have gotten killed. So, I mean, yeah, Penny did save Robin.
But Robin couldn't, the thing is Robin couldn't see that, again, with everything else. So she said, Penny, like, pretty much, like, what are you doing? And
well, then again, Ruby says she doesn't think Robin was her target. It's hard to tell. It kind of looks like Tyrion was trying to attack her at that point, but then, I don't know. It's really...
He was going after whoever. That's the thing, is he's... Like, he just attacks.
Yeah.
Like, there's no thought of who.
And so they even make the connection that, yeah, it's the Vital Festival all over again. Which is kind of scary, in a way. So, Pietro brings up that whoever did this used their own technology against them, which I'm sure there's some people screaming, why doesn't anyone suspect Watts, but,
everyone knows him to be dead.
Yeah.
So
they really have no idea.
Until they can get the pieces to think, okay, maybe he's not dead.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, they have no reason to think it's Watts because he faked his death.
Then Maria, why can't it be like the old days? Just fight to the death. I had to include that because just Maria.
I missed... this episode made me realize how much I miss Maria. So yeah, he even straight out says, hacking into Mantle's system would be simple, then why don't you all change it?
Yeah. Again, if they would have upgraded... The thing is because I was like, well, why couldn't he do it? He's not the one that upgraded the system.
No.
Ironwood's the one that had that done.
And Ironwood, for some reason, just doesn't see the need to upgrade
do it Mantle. And because thing is as soon as Watt's name actually comes up, he's going to realize what an idiot he was.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe that'll be the tipping point there.
I have a feeling that since he brought up that it's running on an upgraded network, that something's going to get leaked and they're going to get a hold of Atlas's network. It's just a little feeling I have, but, I mean, who knows. So, this is what I love. Weiss is asking all the right questions. She automatically wants to know, how would you get access to Atlas's new network? And Pietro brings up that the SDC has control over the systems like sewage, which is a great thought to have. Or the heating grid. Now, the heating grid
is in partnership.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's in partnership. And that is what spikes Weiss's curiosity, because Weiss knows way more of how things work with the Schnee Dust Company than any of the others. I like this because it's showing that Weiss is slowly trying to put all this together.
I think another thing that Jacques doesn't think, yeah, he knows his daughter's obviously not on his side, and like he wants, but
well, neither of his daughters.
Neither of them are. But thing is he doesn't. I don't think he expects Weiss to know or understand as much as she does. Because she's kept quiet, so she's been around to see everything.
Well, that was what was great about last episode, is that she suspected that her father was up to something. But yeah, I do like this. It's kind of like Ruby is kind of just still like struggling with what she's doing is right. Bumblebee is kind of defecting in a way, and Weiss is like is like being the detective of the group and is slowly trying to work things out. And I think eventually she'll put the pieces together. I just hope it's not too late by the time she puts the pieces together.
She's going, like I said, she's going more so towards the side of this with her father, with the election, all that. And Bumblebee's going, they're starting down with the mantle stuff with Robin and connecting more there.
Which during the hiatus, I always felt like that was what was going to happen. I always thought with like being an Atlas and Mantle, we would get more focus on the Faunus and all that, and so we would get a split. We would have Ruby and Weiss dealing with the Schnee Dust Company and some stuff in Atlas, while Bumblebee would be in Mantle, and the whole Faunus thing, maybe Blake trying to save the Faunus of Mantle. It's not looking like that's exactly what they're doing, but
it's in a way, points of that in a way are. And it's
because there's definitely, because the early part of the volume, of course, we got the team stuff, but now as the volume goes on, it does really seem like it's going one way with Ruby and Weiss and one way with Blake and Yang.
But
will they continue that? We don't know yet.
But like oddly enough, to what people aren't seeing even, and you got to really look off the screen too. They're in two different things, going two different directions, but they're still functioning as a team. And so they're pretty much spreading between the two.
What Blake and Yang do, I don't know about that.
That's a little bit different, but in general, you know what I mean. Like it's still coming together.
But I love that Weiss says she doesn't know yet, but she knows something isn't right.
I think I put it in there. Yeah, Maria. Her statement of the century.
Yeah, I miss sassy Maria. But I love it. It just... A lot of people were expecting this to be Weiss's volume, and in a way it still kind of is, because she's had a lot of great moments. But I love the thought of Weiss using her brain a lot more in this, because out of all of them, between, Ruby, her, Blake, Yang, Crow, and Jean, Nora, and Ren, she would know the most about how this whole place works. So she definitely knows something is definitely going on. So Ruby asks Pietro how he's doing during all this, and
we learned that Maria's been helping him.
Yeah, he's been actually really busy doing a lot of stuff. So we do know that but from chapter 1 to now, they've been in Atlas for a few weeks. It's not like volume 6 where it only took place over the course of maybe 3 or 4 days. So they've been in Atlas for probably close to a month almost now. I like this because it really shows the father in Pietro.
Yeah, and this is also where I saw the wire.
I didn't see it when we were first watching it, but this shows that to him, Penny's not a robot. She's not a machine. It's his daughter.
Which we learn there's a little more to that. Yeah. She's not just a robot.
Yeah, definitely. But this goes with the Pinocchio thing.
It does.
Because, Geppetto saw Pinocchio as his son. He wasn't a puppet. He wasn't made out of wood. He was his little boy. And so I really like that. I love that it's still sticking with the whole Pinocchio story.
That's kind of what still leads me to believe that, yeah, I mean, he's obviously, you can see here, he's very sick. But everyone's like, oh, well, someone's doomed to die. Yes, I'm sure there is, but
oh yeah, someone's
the thing
definitely
is
gonna die.
In the story of Pinocchio, neither of them die. They actually managed to come out of the worst possible area, and they survive. And the thing is he lost Penny once, and now he finally has her back, and he's a chance of losing her again. So
I don't know. Like, I definitely could see it either. Well, let's get to that when we get to it. But yeah, everybody keeps on, bringing out Volume 3 and what happened to Pyrrha and all that. But then again, like I've always said,
they're not going to keep writing the same thing.
Well, but Pyrrha was based off Achilles. Achilles died in the Odyssey, not the Odyssey, the Iliad. So it was kind of like, she even died by, she didn't really. It wasn't. I don't know if it was exactly the arrow that killed her, finished her off. It was Cinder that did. But
the symbolism was there.
Yeah, the symbolism was there because Achilles was killed by an arrow to the heel. But Ruby brings up, that even if something does happen to Penny, she can be rebuilt.
She was trying to ease, maybe not worry so much and stress so much. So,
but it turns out there's a reason why Penny is the only one of her kind, which we kind of knew in Volume 2 when we learn that she does have an aura, which means she does have a soul. So he starts talking about the story of Penny getting built, and we see the team that created her, which we see a young Pietro, we see three others that we don't know their names or who they are, but one of the members, I love it that they had him cover his face at first for the reveal
but it
that
also
comes up later.
But it also leads me, thinking more to believe that I don't. Maybe none of them really liked him, because if you notice, they're all pretty close to him, except this one, he's just lounging. But the thing is they're all close to him. Who's by himself, keeping his hands in his pockets? There's somebody there. I just lead me to believe that maybe that might be not someone that he really trusted very much.
Yeah, so this was a cute little scene. We got some good story development here. So some more backstory, talking about how he thought how Penny could help, and Ironwood did too. And then they bring up that they created an artificial aura. No, not quite. Pietro.
Okay, so his is more green. That's
yeah. Pietro uses his aura to give Penny an aura, meaning he's pretty much giving her his life force in a way.
If you've noticed, you can see patches that are cracks in it. So that just tells me that there's pieces missing. It's because he gave them to Penny, and he's done it twice, maybe, I think twice now.
Yeah, so yeah. Even RWBY puts it together real fast that he gave Penny part of his aura.
Every time he rebuilds, it takes a bit more.
Yeah, so... And he breaks down. So this is major death flags for Pietro.
And I'm still hoping not, but...
You never want anybody to die.
No. He's not been here very long, so no.
So we get the reveal right here that Watts helped build Penny, which does not bode well at all. So yeah, that's scary. That is like either Penny's gonna get hacked and she's gonna be forced to fight RWBY and all them. But I don't think they brought Penny back just to kill her again. I wouldn't think so.
I really don't think so.
That kind of doesn't go with the story of Pinocchio, but I do see maybe Pietro dying. That's my Okay, so this is where things started to get even more interesting. So we have May out on the streets, and they're about to rob
another truck.
Rob another truck.
Surprise!
Yeah. So Robin opens the truck, and there's Blake and Yang. They've got their arms up, trying to show her that, hey, we're not going to attack you. All Yang gets off is saying Robin's name, and Robin runs off. She tells everyone to scramble and to get back to the hideout, and which Blake and Yang chase after her because they're not wanting to capture her. They're wanting to talk. So we pretty much Robin runs off, and we pretty much get to see the little teaser scene that Rooster Teeth showed us way too early. Blake goes all Spider-Man. Or Spider Blake, as some people call her. I love this scene. I just love the way how they went from the camera being on Robin to going back to Blake and her, spinning Gamble around. So we got to see Robin's weapon, and it kind of
looks like a bird.
Yeah, but it does shoot arrows, so it is kind of like a bow-like thing. So,
but then all the wings come up like a sword too, which we will see too.
Yeah, so just like any other weapon, it does have a range and a melee capability, which is really cool. It goes with the Robin Hood aesthetic. Blake is still trying to tell her, hey, we're not trying to attack you or anything. We just, I loved this.
I had to catch this, and I had seen someone I think Sunny had posted she couldn't get this.
Yeah.
But someone got to her before this. But
so
yeah.
So
and you could see here
Yeah. I think this is the first time we've seen Blake use fire with her clone. Like, we've seen her use other elements before. I kind of made the joke on Twitter that I posted this picture and said, "Seems like her girlfriend isn't the only one that burns." I thought it was funny. And then once again,
Out of nowhere.
this not as dramatic as the Volume 6 entrance, but Yang does make a little entrance, which is still very badass. Like I said, it's probably not as cool as hitting Adam with the bike and doing her whole superhero landing, but it's still pretty cool. I love it when Yang, and someone made a joke that it's 2 volumes in a row now that Yang's jumped in to help her girlfriend. Um, so we do get a little bit more of the fight. You know, Yang fires some shots at Robin, which she deflects, and then we get once again the very very well oiled machine that is Blake and Yang fighting together. Like we didn't catch it, but you know, there's the whole Yang jumping off Blake's back to be on the other side of Robin. Like it just shows how well in sync they are. This was a great fight. As short as it was a very well choreographed fight. Um, and like once again, Yang and Blake actually get the better of her. They do their whole like it's not the team attack that we know of, but it might as well be another attack by them. And I love this shot actually. I just love this shot for some reason. I just think Blake looks so cool. And yeah, they she does land a hit on Robin
And launches her back.
yeah. So even though they didn't, even though they weren't trying to fight Robin, I think technically Blake and Yang won this fight. Now, if you tell me this is symbolism right here, Robin in the dark, Blake and Yang in the light, and they're wanting to um, either bring her into the light or she's going to end up bringing them into the shadow, which I really wouldn't have a problem with. I kind of do want them to join the Happy Huntresses. I think it'd be cool. And yeah, like she's in the darkness while they're in the light, which I think is really cool. But you know, she says if Ironwood wants her, he'll have to send more than just a couple of kids. Um, which they let her know, hey, there is more coming. You know, you stealing from Atlas has now got the Aesops on your back, which they didn't have to tell her. They should have already told her that something's different here because they wouldn't have shared this information otherwise. So you know, Yang is begging her to listen to them. Which Robin accuses them of stalling, which
They're not trying to.
no, they're not, but it could be seen that way. It definitely looks like stalling. Um,
Then Blake rushes out though to say,
yeah, Amity Coliseum, all the supplies, therefore, and then she stops, and this is what I love. She stops and she looks at Yang before she continues, and Yang looks at her and nods, like, go ahead. And which Blake nods back to her. And she straight up tells her they're for a new communications tower, which, yeah, that's what they're doing. Which, Robin says that doesn't make any sense. Now, it technically doesn't, because, of course she doesn't know the whole story, and she doesn't know what it's exactly going to be used for, which we all know. Yang tries to explain, and she knows what a tower means. She calls her fisticuffs. I love that she's got a
nickname for everybody so far.
Yeah, I love that. I wish she would have given Blake a nickname here, but I love it because it does fit Yang.
Maybe the next time they run into her, we'll get one.
She tells one of them to grab her hand.
Now, I noticed when we first saw Robin and actually saw her in depth, I noticed her glove like this. And the first thought I had, and I kept quiet until we saw more of her, I have a feeling this has something to do with her semblance, or something she can do, because...
I think it's just to signify a trigger finger.
But the thing is skin contact.
Maybe.
So, that's what that leads me to believe. But I knew there was more to it.
It could be both. Yank's just like, what?
I think that's... Oh, it is that same one.
So she's like, you said time is short, quit wasting all my damn time and take my hand. To which it's Blake who does it. And a lot of people made a joke that Yang was probably jealous a little bit, but I don't know about that. But Robin does say, what is Ironwood building in the tundra? And at first, it's like, what's going on?
There we go.
And so Blake takes her hand and she activates her semblance. And Blake tells her, he's trying to help everyone. What's going on? Now, yeah. So I thought that her aura was green just because she's Robin Hood. Robin Hood's always been known as to wear a green outfit. But you may be onto something. That maybe green means telling the truth.
Because that's what she looked and she goes, she's like, telling the truth.
So this is what Robin's semblance is. She's pretty much a living lie detector, which is a pretty, well, I was just about to say what Yang actually says. It's a very handy semblance.
Yeah.
So we get Yang doing her puns again, which is really, really cute. I really love that. She even gives her little... She even gives a little smirk because she knows what she did there.
She meant it, but she knows what she did it on purpose.
And so that kind of opens Robin up to ask, more questions. Why keep this a secret? Which Blake says, he doesn't know who he can trust, which is the truth. I mean, that's the main thing of this whole entire volume. That you don't know who you can trust. I just wonder what this look was for. Like, is Yang just surprised at how much Blake is telling her, or maybe Yang's just letting her do what she wants to do?
I think Yang's just letting her go. But
Yeah.
The thing is, I got this because of what she said,
Yeah.
All the murders, everything that's happening, it's not Ironwood. It's not Atlas. It's somebody making it look like Atlas.
Mm-hmm. So she asks, who is doing this, and Harriet.
I think I did get that stuff, but Harriet comes in and says, where are you guys? And that's when Yang says, well, we can't tell you that yet.
Yeah,
so,
yet. So there is more coming with this. So
maybe the next time they won't be in a fight.
Yeah. So
I caught that.
Robin almost says bullshit, which is so great, but she gets cut off. Like, you coward. Just let him... You've got this blocked behind a paywall.
I know what Yang wants... What we want Yang to say,
yeah. So... Yeah.
Or at least get part of the word out.
And Yang makes... I think it is Yang that says this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yang even says, look, we're trusting you. So trust us when we say that, that Amy Tower needs to stay a secret until it's done. So, here's the thing. Blake and Yang may not have, fully defected yet, but they went against orders, and they gave away classified information. Military classified information. You get proven guilty for that, you go to jail. In some countries, you get axed. But so, yeah, this is a big deal. If Ironwood finds out, then these two are going to be in trouble. Now, by the time he finds out, they may not care by that point. But I don't think this is the last talk Blake and Yang will have with Robin.
Or when he finds out, obviously something beneficial from a change, and then it really wouldn't matter. It'd be like, okay, well, you gave away classified information, but obviously I see it helped.
I don't know.
I don't think that's going to happen, but it's a possibility.
I don't think it's going to be that black and white. I don't think it's going to be that like that.
Well, I didn't mean it was going to be easy to get to that point, but...
So, Blake tells her to run, and that they'll throw them off. So, we don't get to see what they do. We don't know if they just lie and say she got away, or if they actually... I don't know.
Maybe the next episode.
Well, who knows? The next episode, whew, oh boy. And so, just Robin pretty much says, I won't stop until I know the whole truth. Then she gets away. So then we go to the vault, where Oscar and Ironwood is. And Ironwood took him there, hoping that, seeing it might jog some memories within Oscar from Ozpin, but it doesn't. So here, Ironwood confirms that they used the staff the relic to lift Atlas into the air. So, that's some interesting information that we didn't know.
And it was Oz's idea.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so it is not gravity dust that keeps it afloat. That's just what the public is told. So it's pretty much being kept up by magic.
Yeah, and he said that's kind of what sparked the idea for the Amity Project, which that's not a bad thought.
No.
Okay, hey, if we lift it up, we could have a communication that nothing can get to it, and that's pretty much what he says.
So here's the foreshadowing. The staff can only be used because I think Oscar says something about using the staff to get Amity Tower up, and he says that it can only be used for one purpose at a time. Meaning, if someone takes that staff and gives it a new job, pretty much, Atlas comes down. Yeah, that's foreshadowing. I mean, for real. So this was kind of sad.
Yeah.
Him telling Oscar that eventually he won't know who's him and who's Oscar.
Yeah, who's
anymore.
who anymore. And he just like, well, okay, right, because he's heard that. And
did you have to do that? Like, really? Poor Oscar.
And he admits that him and Oz didn't always see eye to eye, and we saw that.
Yeah, we saw that in Volume 2 and Volume 3, so that's that's another understatement of the decade. And Oscar even tells...
He goes, I don't know what Oz would say, but I can tell you what I think. And he said everything that he's doing, it's not going to take him anywhere good.
No.
He's just being honest with him. And Ironwood didn't seem to like that very much, but...
Yeah, he even says the only thing that matters is stopping Salem. And
here's what I'm going to say.
It just solidifies my what I said, that even, like, no matter what anyone says to him, he's so stubborn in his plan that he's not listening to anybody.
And that's why I said I wonder what's going to cause that snapping point there for him to realize, okay, maybe I need to listen to somebody else. But the one thing I had mentioned earlier that I was going to make a point is all the theories of Oscar turning on, RWBY and all them. And the thing is this would have been the moment for him to do it. He didn't. He's testing him. You can tell in his words that he is lightly putting a test out to see where his direction goes with whatever he says. I've been at this point just going to show that Oscar's not going to turn around and say anything.
Yeah.
He may not like it, but he's not going to say anything.
Yeah, because he even points out that them keeping hold of who they are, their humanity, is what makes them different from her. And Ironwood says he sometimes thinks that's her greatest advantage. That's kind of a scary thought. It's almost like he thinks that if they started thinking more like her, that they would gain an advantage on her. And this
points out back
to Volume 3, and it kind of points out that he may have a little bit of PTSD from his failure at Beacon. Which,
that flashes to that screen that he saw that day, and then it goes back to the elevator screen. But
and Oscar says you can't let that fear control you, which really is what he's doing.
His fear is causing him to act as stubborn as he is.
Yeah, because Crow even said in Chapter 1 that he's scared. And he says he's not going to end up like Lionheart, who... That might be foreshadowing as well. That's... yeah.
If he keeps going like this, he's going to.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
And he asks Oscar, do you believe in me? And
he goes, yes, but not only you. Like,
yeah. So that's kind of...
That's another thing that's why I know Oscar's not going to say anything.
Yeah.
He's really... For as young as he is and coming into this how he did, he's a really smart boy. I mean... He's learning quick, and he's learned to adapt with the teams, and he's still learning on his own too. So
this goes back to a lot of the criticism about Oscar that Oscar's been suffering from since he was ever introduced, and that's all of his development has been off screen. Now we're finally getting some on-screen Oscar development, so that is something that RWBY has definitely listened to, and they showed here. So that's another great thing. He
He's
says,
talking to the people that he,
yeah, and he
fears
says
most.
now he is starting to sound more like Ozpin, which is.
And there's a little smile there. I mean, and Penny.
Yeah, Penny with Winter
Pacing.
pacing like very, very.
I didn't notice when we first watched it, but she does have the letter behind in her fingers,
Yeah.
pacing.
Yeah, when we watched it, we didn't notice it yet. So
when I went back through the second time,
there's a very serious reason why she's pacing.
She's paced like a couple times back and forth, and then as soon as the elevator goes off, and then
she presents a letter to Ironwood, and oh boy, he reads it, and he looks at Oscar and says, "Looks like you're getting your wish of him talking to people that he's scared to." And Winter, says her father's already made his first attempt, and they've all been invited to dinner where Ironwood's
a challenge for the general's seat on the council.
Yeah, so we may not be getting an Atlas ball, but we're getting an Atlas dinner party, which the description for the next episode has come out, and it pretty much does say that the girls have to face their most difficult opponent, and that's a high-class dinner party. So, have Yang wear a suit, please. Because someone, it's been posted by several that when talking about coming up with a new outfit designs, Carrie made a very specific comment about Yang's outfit, about how it was a good outfit for her for now. So many are taking that they may get fancy outfits for this
kind of
episode.
Like the alternate outfits.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I like those outfits. I wish they would have lasted more than just like an episode. But so maybe we'll get something like that because it's been that many.
Yeah, and this raises so many questions because I mean it's still going to be a shorter episode. It's like 15 minutes. This is also the last episode until 2020 because they are going to be taking a break on the 28th since that's the week of Christmas. So there's a lot of things to look forward to. We'll more than likely see Winter's mom, Winter and Weiss's mom, because it's been confirmed we are going to see Miss Mama Schnee in the DC comics. And a lot of people are like, are they really going to show her for the first time in the comics? I think that comic chapter is not going to hit till after this episode. But we're going to see, because usually in high society, when they have these dinner parties like this, there's a lot of, kids, rich people, they play those games with each other to try and outdo the other.
Yeah.
Or it's like in Dragon Age, the game that the Orlesians play with each other to try and one-up nobles try to one-up the other and all that. So we're going to see that. We're going to see a very intense discussion between Ironwood and Jacques, which is going to be very interesting. So we don't know yet if it's just going to be Jacques and the other Schnee family and just Ruby and all them, or if there's going to be Atlas High Society there, the other members of the council, which you would think if he's going to challenge Ironwood's place on the council, the other council members would be there. Which is
a huge possibility.
And the fact that it says the girls have to face their gray set, which is a high-class dinner party, I mean, you would think that, yeah, they would have to get dressed up.
Yeah.
I want to see a scene of Weiss and Winter teaching them proper manners for an Atlas party.
We may get a small moment of that. Maybe another montage to...
Yeah, maybe. Please give us a Beauty and the Beast, dance between Blake and Yang. I doubt there's going to be dancing. It's a dinner party. It's not a dance. But I do want to see Yang in a suit. Possibly a chance for another B-Mod. I kind of hope someone does say something nasty toward Blake and Yang goes off on them or something. I would also really be interested to see Bumblebee face discrimination because they're pretty much a human and Faunus relationship, and how that they would deal with that and how that would be addressed. I think that'd be...
I know there's some people that have put some little scenario things that they've come up with, it's like, well, that's what it took.
Yeah. Oh, it was...
I couldn't remember the post.
I remember. I don't remember who put it up, but it was, Jacques referring to Blake as an animal, Yang getting mad, saying "Don't talk about my girlfriend that way," and then everybody just being quiet, and Y screaming, "That's what it took."
Yeah, I saw that
That's
earlier
what
and I
it
thought,
was.
oh, which
Um,
would be so funny, but
Also, we might get Ruby complaining about being in a dress and in heels again, like she did in Volume 2. Um, so yeah, it's
Lady Stilts.
yeah, Lady Stills. Yeah, that's what it was. um, so yeah, very excited for this upcoming episode. Hopefully, it doesn't have too much of a traumatic uh, cliffhanger that we have to wait almost pretty much 2 weeks for to be resolved. So yeah, very very interested in that. Um, I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but please watch the show on Rooster Teeth's site. Please support them. Because this show is amazing. It's probably like there's 3 series that I've gotten into, like as far as television, like anime, like a series goes, and that's Dragon Ball, Legend of Korra, and this. So a lot of stuff's happened to Rooster Teeth this year, so please support them. They're pretty much slaves at this point to the corporate heads that are above them, because some stuff apparently did
recent
happen
events that
today.
happened, and
Um,
I've seen stuff on Twitter. I've seen stuff on
it's still being like debated if it's
yeah,
even real.
I've seen it on Facebook, and I've seen and there's people defending, oh well, don't support this. No, this isn't them.
I even saw someone say they were embarrassed to be a fan of RWBY. I'm like, RWBY has nothing to do with this.
I've seen posts about, oh well, this is another reason why I'm not supporting it after this season. Well, you have to understand
This isn't from Rooster Teeth.
no,
This
it's
is...
not. And someone's like, oh, well, that's just a vague thing. No, we don't know enough about this to be able to really in depth. But since things have been
That's
discovered,
how corporate works.
higher up. It has to do with the companies and like that are higher up that
Corporate
have
suits
this.
don't care.
No, they don't. They don't care about anything. It's money. That's all they care about. And I mean, doing this, especially around this time, obviously it's somebody that has no heart, doesn't care.
Yeah.
And my
It's
heart goes out to everybody that has to suffer this, if it is true. And I mean, I've seen posts, too, about from the people that were supposedly let go or laid off. And I feel terrible, but I know for a fact, and then somebody posted about it wasn't this. I think it was
It was Time Warner.
No, who posted it? Thomas.
Oh yeah.
Unicorn of War had posted it about distinguishing Rooster Teeth, like putting a line between the higher ups and Rooster Teeth itself. Like, there's a difference. There is a line. The people we know that create this stuff for us, compared to them, there is a huge difference there. And they're up there. The ones we don't know are the ones that are doing this. So this is not on Rooster Teeth. So
yeah, the people who decided this are like those suit bosses you see in movies where their Christmas bonus to their staff is like tickets to a bingo club or something instead of like an actual bonus.
So if you want to go in even something like
Christmas vacation. That's the kind of people.
That. Or I was gonna say also Carter Peterschmidt in Family Guy.
Yeah.
He's a funnier version of it, but that's kind of what that is. They think, okay, well, I'm just gonna throw this at you. I've got all this money, so you're just gonna get like a cake.
And they're the type of people who are like, oh, I don't care if it's almost Christmas. You ain't making me money. Get out of here. You're fired.
Personally, I've been in positions like that, so I know what it's like. Yeah, not in that sense of getting let go from like an animated position or working with Rooster Teeth in any position. I've been in companies that are like, oh, here's a turkey. Here's this, which I appreciate, believe me. I mean, I've been on that low end where food is food, and they're huge turkeys, but
we didn't even get to eat it.
No.
But, we waited too long.
But the thing is I've been in other smaller jobs, and there are also some of those jobs, not Rooster Teeth's not like this, but some of them are even go as far as, oh, you're replaceable. Mm-hmm. I've been in that way, and that was pretty much my out-of-high-school job.
So yeah, guys, like...
you really need to think more in-depth, and think more logically about this. Like...
Yeah, like, I get that a lot of Rooster Teeth fans are younger, and they might not just know how the corporate game works, but yeah, I mean, this is not Rooster Teeth. If you're one of these people making videos saying it's Rooster Teeth, then you're just trying to create drama for views. That's all you're doing.
It's really not. I mean, and the thing is, everyone's like, oh, well, this is becoming a big, huge problem. This has always been a problem.
Oh, yeah.
This has been a problem before any technology came about. So this has always been a thing.
Disney's done this.
Yes, and the thing is even if it's been around for hundreds of years at this point, which
video
it has,
game developers do it.
Yeah, it's been hundreds of years at this point, been around. And the thing is it only comes to light when something happens.
Yeah.
So it's gonna keep going on. There's nothing we can really do about it anymore at this point. I mean, at least as a whole.
The best Rooster Teeth can do is what Thomas says, and that's unionize. It's the best they can do. It'll protect them, but
because I think in that post someone had put about Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah. The point is, what happened today, whether it's true or whether it's not, is not Rooster Teeth's fault. It was something that was completely out of their hands. You guys are directing your hate at the wrong people. Stop believing what every little drama channel tells you, because they're just using you for views. Use common sense and know that it's not Rooster Teeth. It's no one on RWBY. It's the suits that work for Time Warner that are making these decisions for Rooster Teeth, and Rooster Teeth has to comply, or they could lose everything.
And I know, we may be small, or a small, nothing channel compared to Rooster Teeth, but, and our hearts really do go to them, because it's not a good feeling to have, and we do feel bad, and we hope things do get resolved, or things do change. So all we can do at this point, even as us, or support them, even send prayers their way if you just anything positive.
Okay, well, this video's went way too long. We're nearing 2 hours here, so we need to wrap it up. Okay, guys, so this will be up hopefully by tomorrow. Like I said at the beginning of the video, more content is coming. Just be patient. Like I said, it's holidays. We're working a lot, so we may not have a whole lot of time or the energy to create a lot of videos. We do have video plans. Like I said, I'm going to be starting a Let's Play series soon. I'm going to try and post a lot for that. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like it, subscribe, share it around, hit that notification bell, follow us on Twitter, because usually we'll post video ideas or what might be coming on Twitter. Check our Facebook page. Check our Etsy store, our Square store. She does commissions, and she's been getting a lot here recently.
Send us your questions so we can finally do our first Q&A.
Yeah,
we seriously. We only have one question so far.
Yeah, seriously,
send
guys.
us more, please.
Yeah, even if you're not a subscriber and
comment,
yeah,
we'll get it. So it's just
because we do want to do a Q&A video. So yeah, look at all that stuff. Follow us on Twitter. Send us a question on Twitter.
Facebook, anything.
Facebook, yeah, anything.
As an email, directly email if you don't want to put it on Twitter.
Yep, well, this was our analysis video for RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 7. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.